Welcome to Celebrate a Sister podcast. I'm your host, Emma Walkinshaw. I'm a transformational coach. I'm also the founder of Embody Me program and the creator of 21 Minutes of Morning Magic. You may also find me on the yoga mat leading yoga sessions and also running retreats here in Australia and internationally. Here on the podcast, I bring you some pretty incredible guests. We talk all things self-belief, body acceptance, personal development, outdated beauty standards, and we also call BS on the toxic diet culture, accepting the beautiful bodies we were born into, letting go of all the beliefs, and raising our self-awareness. I also come to you from time to time with a little solo episode, a little Life According to Emma moment. I'm so glad you're here. Enjoy. Are you ready to break free from the chains of diet culture and step into a life filled with confidence? I am so excited to introduce to you Body Love Bootcamp. This course designed to help you reject toxic beauty standards and embrace the powerful, confident woman that you are. Join the waitlist now to be the first to transform your relationship with your body. It's time to move from self-loathing to self-love. Sign up today. There is a link in the show notes and you'll be the first to hear once Body Love Bootcamp is out into the world, and it's coming very soon. A big warm welcome to Celebrate a Sister podcast. Today I'm joined by Erin Davis. Erin helps women stay in control with their money so they can step into the rest of their life with confidence. She understands financial clarity is the key ingredient in moving your business from where it is now to where you want it to go. Erin has been a qualified accountant with over 30 years' experience. She's helped hundreds of businesses manage millions of dollars and become financially strong. But it's not all about the numbers. Erin believes that being in control of money allows you to step into the rest of your life with confidence, because when you're confident, you walk taller, smile more, jump at opportunities, and feel amazing. Erin helps you become the most confident woman in your work, money, and play. She does this through her financial wellness checkups, financial wellness strategy, and also she has a fabulous podcast, her Confident Code, and her higher one-on-one level coaching. While there's a strong focus on emotions, energy, and benefits to reduce her clients' mental load, Erin also educates, supports, and empowers with practical money knowledge and tools. Erin is an accountant in your back pocket, and with her guidance, female business owners will transform their relationship with money, unlock their full potential, and ultimately live a life with confidence and purpose. Welcome, Erin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. It's so lovely to connect. And I actually love talking about money. I love talking about business. And my work is very much with women and around their body acceptance and body confidence. But I know that, like you said, like I just read in your bio, that it is all connected. Absolutely connected. So, Erin, did you want to share a little bit more on that, your ethos around money and all of the connections that play out in our life and what you've experienced with women you work with?
Yeah, sure. So, as you said, everything is connected with women. It is not like we can put everything into little compartments and just forget about things. So, the relationship we have with money transfers into our business, into our everyday life. It transfers into the relationships that we have, and we carry a huge mental load when we're not feeling confident with our money. So I really love to empower women to, have that confidence, to have that knowledge and that power. The financial empowerment really comes with knowledge. It comes with being able to make informed decisions and really just own her space and hold her space so that she can just really step forward without the heavy load that comes with financial illiteracy or financial struggles or financial burden. So that is the space that I love to be in. It just creates such a beautiful relationship, and that financial independence, it just changes your whole relationships with everything. So that is where I'm passionate. That's where I love to be. And that accountant and that experience means that I know the practical things and I know how it all works. But then I am really intrigued by the mindset stuff that goes with it, because I think that is just as important.
Mm. And the financial literacy, what a great awareness. Because financial literacy, when you said that, I was thinking, oh, this is really about information. And because I love the whole body acceptance journey, I make the analogy almost how we feel about our body, how we feel about our money. And I think of I hope I'm going to say the word right, the suppression that women have had around finances is almost like the projection of the diet culture and the beauty standards. It's like that women with finances, like women, I can only imagine right now, I'm visualizing like an ad from the 1950s where the husband's the one at the bank and not the wife. The house gets sold and it's the man. You see the man signing the papers, buying the house. You see the man getting the new car, or the man making decisions. Even, visions. I'm thinking back of when I think of a vision of the stock market in New York, Wall Street, I don't even visualize a woman there.
No, it's all men, and it's men dressed in suits, and it's men looking powerful and in control, and it's busy and it's loud and it's noisy. Whereas a lot of women are in that more gentle and flowy state and more grounded and connected. So that space just feels totally foreign.
Yeah.
And I think when I'm talking about money too, I look at, well, what was my mum's relationship with money? And then how did she teach me about money? And to be honest, there really wasn't any teachings there because she didn't have any teachings. So it was not until I went into accounting, and I only went into accounting because I was good at maths at school and I ended up in this space. But she didn't have that relationship with money. She didn't understand it. My dad controlled everything, but I don't think it was in a controlling way, but he just took care of everything. And so mum didn't have that awareness. She didn't have that goal of creating wealth or savings or moving into that real financial independence. And my daughter actually said to me not so long ago, "Thank you so much for teaching me about money." And I was like, okay, no worries. But why? Because it was just like, it's just something we talk about. And she said, "My friends just have no clue. The things that they're talking about, they just have no understanding. My daughter has some investments. She has a loan for a car, so she needs to budget. And while she doesn't know everything, together we have just worked through how much does she need, how does she need to work out her weekly wage, where does it need to be allocated." And it's just those little things that have really empowered her to feel confident and to know what she needs to do. So I think it all comes back to that financial literacy is really understanding. It is just education. It is accepting that we don't know everything, and it's okay not to know everything, but it's okay to ask for help too.
Yes, yeah. And I'm just thinking of our listeners right now who could be listening, and I'm that person in our family. I take care of all the money, pay the bills. My husband and I, my husband's a town planner. We have a town planning firm. I do all the pays and the account. Brendan actually doesn't know how to log into a bank account. He has no logins. However, he does know Xero, our finances, profit and loss. So that's what he looks at. And so do I, but I run the paying of the bills and paying of the staff and all of that. And I know for our listeners who are listening, if you aren't that person like Erin and I who do the finance stuff, if your partner is, as long as someone's talking to your daughter about it, And it doesn't necessarily have to come from the mum, it come from the dad. Whoever has, let's say, the financial reins in the house, someone talk to the children about it, and particularly daughters. And a similar thing, Erin, I had my beautiful son and daughter acknowledge that in me too. I've shown from a very early age, and a lot of people find this like, oh, from a very young age, like early teens, I have opened our Xero and shown my children our bank, our business, and shown them what a profit and loss is. I also show them my bank accounts, what we owe on our office that we've purchased, what we owe on our house, our self-managed superannuation. I've been very, very open with this. And I say to them, this is our family, but I want you to know, for them to actually understand, okay, if I buy a house for this much money, this is a mortgage, this is what it looks like, this is what we earn. Because at the end of the day, no one else, they can go to school and learn a version of this, but there is nothing like it from home. This is actually, and I was raised this way. I'm very fortunate that my mother and father, completely transparent most of my life in business as well. So I've always, and to this day, I know my parents' financial position. It's been a very open thing in our house that we've talked about, and certainly not with other people, but I feel like there is a lot of power in that. However, the flip side of that, though, is we often have, and I'd love you to speak to this, the shame around that, and also measuring our self-worth against our net worth, which can have a massive impact. Because you and I can sit here and say that because things are going great. But God forbid, if I was not in this situation, I would imagine I perhaps wouldn't want to share this with my children.
I know, and I think that there is a huge amount of money shame and money guilt. And even I feel it. Being an accountant, I feel like I should know more, or I should be in a different position, or I should be further ahead because I have all of this knowledge. But I think it's really important to be kind to ourselves and to be gentle with ourselves, that we've done the best that we could at the time with the information that we know. And it's all about how can we learn, and how can we grow, and how can we, change directions, and what are the choices that we're making. And if you're not confident with your money, how can you become confident? What are the steps that you can do to start to educate yourself and start to reduce that shame? And so that's all about building yourself up to learn and to be open to learning. It's about putting yourself into sometimes uncomfortable conversations and uncomfortable situations, but in a trusted environment, so that you don't feel the shame and you don't feel the guilt. And that could be with a professional, an accountant, or a counsellor, or somewhere, or it could be within your business group. And I think I see a lot of financial statements, and I see a lot of business owners. There are lots of people that project out to the world that everything is great and their money is great. However, there's no money in the bank. The credit cards are, skyrocketing high. There's debt everywhere. They owe the tax office. There's loans. So while they may project out that they have got all of this money, they really don't. So I think put yourself in a position where you can have great, open, trusted conversations. And it's about building that trust and about building that vulnerability. So if they aren't your right people, then obviously don't share it there, because they're going to contribute to the shame and contribute to that lack of self-worth that you have. You need to put yourself in a place where you feel safe. So that would be my tip, to be in that space where you feel safe, able to have conversations, and able to just look up to people, search for those role models, search for those people that have what you want, but really have what you want, not just, superficial.
Yeah.
But talk to them, ask questions, be vulnerable and open yourself up, because if you don't, then you're going to stay in that place of shame and guilt and not be able to move forward. So, yeah, I think it all comes down to that choice and self-awareness. You need to be aware of where you're at. Is it serving you? Is it not serving you? Is it making you feel good? If it's making you feel bad and your self-worth is, rock bottom and you feel terrible because of it, you've got a choice, really. You can either stay there, or you can start to climb your way out, and you don't have to do it all by yourself. find those people that can help you to start moving you forward and start moving you up into that next space of where you want to be.
Yeah. And, two things you said there. What is your version, I guess, of that happiness? What do you really want? Not what we think we should have. So it's coming back to that. What's actually your values in a lot of ways, as opposed, it might not be stuff. It might be more time or freedom or to be debt free. And when you said also speaking to someone that can help you, almost like I think of like a plan to get you out of it, because it often isn't overnight. It is.
No, it's not. You've taken a long time to get to this place.
Yeah.
It's not going to be switched off and switched over automatically. However, it starts with the mindset and the mind frame and the confidence that you have to be able to follow the plan. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a quick fix unless you win, the $100 million Powerball that one lucky person won not long ago. Not all of us are that fortunate. So it does create work, and it is going to be hard, but it can be done. And it's about changing that mindset around not attaching yourself to money, not attaching your self-worth to money. Money is just a transactional thing. Yeah. It's not you, and you're not your net worth. You are more than that.
Yeah. Yes, you are. I want to ask, in your experience, what have been some of the common financial habits or mindsets that hold women back, and can they start shifting to unlock to their full potential? Like, what would you see some of the common mindsets or habits that women have?
Yeah, so I think really that scarcity mindset is the first one. It's about never having enough, or feeling like they never have enough. And now that comes from comparing ourselves to next door or the business down the road or whatever we see on social media, thinking that we're lacking in some form, that we don't have enough within ourselves. So that scarcity mindset really keeps us in that high stress space. It also then makes us reluctant to invest and learn new things, because we need to protect our money. We need to protect what we have. And it could seem really risky to invest. So I think that's the first one, that there's that real scarcity mindset, which then influences the decisions that you want to make and keeps you in that small space rather than allowing yourself to open up for growth. Yeah. The other one is really that fear of making financial decisions. We can have so many missed opportunities because we have the fear within ourselves that we might do it wrong or we don't know enough. And we're really just not opened up to the opportunities that come through. So we stay in this space of lack and less than because we're too scared to take that step forward. So there's another one too, which is pretty common, which is those negative money beliefs and those money blocks that we all have. And you're not alone in thinking that you're the only one that has a money block. And that really comes from, a lot of it comes from our childhood and the way that we're brought up. So, people could say money is dirty. Don't put that in your mouth. When you're a little kid, you put some money in your mouth because, that's what little kids do. Or you get what you get and you don't get upset. Our kids have heard that one at school and they've come home all the time and saying that. So the other one is money doesn't grow on trees. You need to make sure that you're careful with your money. And all of those money blocks have a different feeling and a different perception to us based on our personal experiences. So those things are what are holding us back from being able to make those decisions, feeling confident and really stepping into that space. And then the last one I would think is, that real avoidance of financial conversations. That comes back to that guilt and that shame before that you're avoiding. So you don't look at your bank account. It's better to stick your head under the covers, hide in the doona, rather than opening the bank account, looking at what's there, really analysing where you're spending your money and what's the feeling attached to that. Is there feelings of desperation? Is it emotional spending? Is it, you've had a bad day at work and so you do some retail therapy shopping on the weekend just because, that makes you feel better? But what's that relationship that you have with money and spending? And is that healthy? And is it a positive relationship for you?
So if you were to give 3 habits that we could take on, I love that one, looking at your bank account every day. So if you're avoiding that, that would be one that you need to take on.
Yeah.
What are the other couple of things that we could implement now just to become more financially literate? And to, I guess, the feeling I get is like, take your power back. Instead of, like you say, being taken away with the online shopping or the just not actually knowing what's coming in and what's going out, and having an understanding, because of course it's okay to shop and of course it's okay to buy things.
Absolutely. Yeah, yes. Absolutely. But it's the why is it happening? What's the reason behind it? And I think the biggest one is a budget, like looking at what comes in, what goes out, and then how does it feel when you look at that budget, when you're looking at the tracking of your income and expenses? How is that making you feel? Did that purchase of the shoes or the handbag or the trip away, did it fulfill that longer term goal? Or is it just a short term fix that is just covering something else that's happening a bit deeper? So I think get really, really clear on where you're spending and where you're receiving your money, create the awareness around it, and really tap into that feeling of how is it making you feel when you see that spending, because we can earn more money, but a lot of us struggle to maybe ask for a pay rise or to put our prices up, which is a whole nother money block and space within itself. But what's in your control right now is what you're spending on. And I'm sure you've heard the saying that it doesn't matter if you earn 100,000 or 200,000, you can be rich or poor at both levels. You can have no cash at either level. It just depends on what your relationship with money is and how you feel about it and how you want to spend it. There can be people that are earning minimum wage, just getting by, that feel absolutely happy and perfect within themselves because they're content. They're not looking for the next big thing, or they're not looking for money or objects to satisfy that internal need that they have. Whereas somebody earning 3 times the amount is needing that external validation, all of those materialistic things that really don't contribute to their intrinsic happiness and value. So it's all about, where are you spending? What are you doing? So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2 would to be, make sure you have an emergency account. So this is particularly for women, it is really important to be able to have your own bank account with some money set aside for you. You don't know what's going to happen in the future. You don't know what's around the corner. But to really have that financial independence is about having control of your money. And now a lot of relationships don't allow that control to happen, or that independence. So I would say, make sure that you have enough in an emergency fund to be able to cope with an emergency, whatever that number needs to be. Now, in my relationship, my husband and I are fine. There's no issues there. We're completely open about money. However, still having that separate bank account means that we're both independent and we're both looking after ourselves, which is not a bad thing, but we're having conversations about it. We know what's in each other's bank accounts. We know where we're at. It's no secret, but it's just separate. So could be a secret bank account, but I would encourage you to have that conversation and to have that connection and awareness together of what it is that looks like.
Yeah. And it's like you say, it does come back to a feeling, whatever makes you feel. And what would the feelings be if we think about our finances and feeling like you're financially literate and you feel like the first feeling that comes to me is almost like safe, like it feels like a safe feeling, maybe even content. content,
Yeah,
peaceful.
and I think for me, it's really that safety. It
Yeah.
is that safety net. It means that I don't have to go to the shops and check the bank account before I pay for groceries. It means I can go and have a coffee, or I can go and have a facial, or I can go and do whatever I want without panicking about what money is in the bank. And we know that when we're carrying all that stress, it all shows up in our body. So we need to be relieving that mental load by creating the safety net, by creating that emergency fund. So then you can just calm yourself, relax, show up in a beautiful space, and just be your beautiful self without carrying that heaviness that comes with it.
Yeah, because it is, you're right, it is like a silent heaviness that is
Mm,
often never spoken about or out in the open. So that is a lot of, like you said earlier, mental
mm,
load that you are
yeah,
taking.
yeah. And it's all then about the practices, like what you do with your mindfulness and your yoga and your gratitude. All of those things feed into how you feel about yourself. And so if you're able to reduce the overwhelm and the stress that you feel with money, it then allows yourself to open up more to receiving and being grounded and just being in that beautiful flow state rather than so rigid and logical and structured,
Mm.
which is a lot of what society is today. It's in that very rigid and structured space. So,
Yeah.
I think really it's really empowering to be able to be in control of your money so that you can just really calm and step into that, whatever that space is that you want to do, knowing that you're safe and knowing that you're calm and in control. And I think
Mm.
control is a really important word. It's not a bad thing. It's you and your independence, and you make the decisions and you decide what happens. And that within itself is so empowering and so freeing once you're able to really master that.
Yeah, great advice. So, if women were to raise their financial literacy, Erin, where could they find you and what do you feel would be the first step? So, let's say someone's got a goal and they really want to start to look at, because maybe they are feeling a big mental load with the finances. Love the idea of going, I can actually go and have a facial or buy a pair of shoes because there is a bank account or a fund there for me to be able to do those things guilt free and everything's still being covered. It's okay. I can still treat myself. If they were
Yes.
to start to raise their financial literacy, where would they start? What have you got available that could help them?
Well, I have a financial wellness kickstart kit. So that is at erindavis.com.au/kickstart. And that really is, it's probably more for business owners, but all women can use it. It is just about, well, where am I at right now? Where is the clarity that I need? Drawing that line in the sand, looking at what's happened, where do I want to go? What are those goals and dreams? And do I understand my financials? Do I know where things are up to? But it's really that line in the sand. So that is where I would start. I'm on Instagram, Erin Davis _transform, show up there a lot. And it's, I really just want to connect and empower women to be able to take back that control. So have a look at my website, DM me on Instagram or the socials, wherever you are. And yeah, I really just love having those conversations because I think it all starts with a conversation and it all starts with feeling safe and it starts with developing that trust in the relationship. Because like we said, there is a lot of shame around money and guilt and it is quite personal. So it's really important to have that connection to start with before you delve deep into what it is that you're really feeling. So
Yeah.
they're the places I like to hang out.
Great. Thank you, Erin. So all of that will be in the show notes for all of our listeners. If you are ready to perhaps have a look, if you are feeling a little bit stressed or a lot stressed about finances, or even you've just got some goals to set, like you really want to set yourself up, whether it be for retirement or whatever it might, or you've got a goal to travel and you want to just create some space so you can have the finances to do that. Definitely check out Erin's beautiful page and her website with that free tool. So thanks, Erin. Thank you so much. It's been
Thank you for having me.
It's been wonderful chat. So all of our listeners, check it out. And, I guess having a conversation with our kids too is also a brilliant thing. You could do it with your kids too. That's,
just I think if we remove the shame and we feel comfortable, it then allows the next generation to feel comfortable. And it's all then just about learning and asking questions. And Google has all the answers. However, is that the right answer for me? Yeah. Is it the right thing for me? Is it what I need? Do I understand it? So I think there's plenty of information out there, but it's really about those personal connections and stories and learning from those people around you that are doing what you want to do and opening yourself up to those conversations.
Thank you, Erin. Thanks for a wonderful conversation with you today. Thanks for joining me.